What is up, everybody? Welcome to Outside the Cage. It's your co-host, Jalen, with my boy, Eric. How we feeling?
Doing pretty good, man. It's early in the week. Giants actually got a crazy W this weekend, so that had me happy. UFC Noche, pretty good card as we expected, but a controversial ending with the draw between Valentina Shevchenko and Alexa Grasso in the title fight because of a 10-8 round that was given. I got to hear your thoughts on this.
Do you have the scorecards or no?
I can read them. I don't have a picture to put up in our
10-8 round 3?
10-8 was round 5.
For Grasso?
Yes.
So
one judge had it split decision Valentina. One judge had it split I guess not split decision. One judge had it 3-2 Valentina, one judge had it 3-2 Grasso, and then one judge had Valentina up 3 rounds to 1 going into the 5th, and then he gave Grasso a 10-8 in the 5th.
Whoa.
Yeah. Crazy. We got a lot to unpack here today.
So I just watched it back before we just got on air, literally 5 minutes ago. And I had 10-9 round 1 Valentina. I then had 10-9 round 2 Grasso. The knockdown was the difference, but other than the knockdown, I felt like Valentina kind of controlled the round. And this is where I kind of was different. I had 10-9 round 3 Valentina, but I feel like that could have been a 10-8. So I feel like that's where I felt like the 10-8 could have been. Round 4 was obviously the closest one. I feel like that was 10. I gave it 10-9 Grasso. That could have been Valentina. That was that was a coin toss for me. And then round 5 was obviously 10-9 Grasso. I don't know about a 10-8, so it's hard, but yeah, I mean, so ultimately I had it 48-47 Grasso, but then I also could have had a draw for Valentina if you give. Yeah, I mean, I literally like a draw is warranted. Like this is like a draw is warranted. I don't disagree with the draw at all. I could definitely see how this was a draw. What did you score it?
So I had it 48-47 Valentina.
Shit, so it had a draw too.
Yeah, facts. It was just such a close fight. Like in every round, I feel like one of them would kind of dominate the round, but then the other one would have the biggest moment in the round, if that makes sense. Round was. Yeah, every round, like Valentina would be jabbing Grasso to death, have control, and then Grasso would threaten a submission and almost get a sub, or Grasso would land a big shot on the feet, knock her down. Or Grasso would be kind of controlling the round, and then Valentina would land some jabs, take her down, and lay on top of her for a minute or two. So it was a really good fight, too. I think they're very evenly matched at this point in their careers. If Valentina is the same age as her, it's probably a different story. But for right now, it is a great fight. And I've got to say, Valentina's a terrible loser. Did you see what she said after?
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. Like, your emotions are probably running high and stuff, but there's no way the judge is caring that it's Noche UFC, and that's why he's writing that scorecard in there.
Yeah, then Grasso said, that's why I won. And then DC said, but it was a draw. Yeah, I think great fight. Definitely definitely you see a third fight kind of trending in the Moreno Figgy. If Valentina wins the third, we got to see a fourth.
Honestly, dude, it is kind of shaping up that way. I hadn't thought about that comp yet, but straight up.
Yeah. You know me, I always look ahead, bro. That's fine. That's what I can do is look ahead.
Dude, I mean, I think you go rematch right away, right?
Yeah.
Or for the next fight.
It's a good fight. It was a close fight. No one was robbed. It was a really close fight. It was the fans loved the matchup. Grasso sells tickets. Now it just depends on when and where. Fuck it, let's run it at 300.
Yeah, put
But
it
if
on.
not, if you want to run it closer, yeah. I mean, again,
Hey,
I'm not opposed to it being a fight night. We can run that as a fight night again, and we can run it in Vegas. We can run it in Arizona. We can run it in Mexico City, like something like that. Because it was a great card. It was a great atmosphere.
yeah, it was, dude.
I mean,
How
we've
about?
seen it when we were there. When we were there for International Fight Week, how big the Mexican fan base is when Yair
Mm-hmm.
was there. So we've
Yeah,
seen
dude,
it.
they were. I was just telling my friend, he was like kind of shocked. I was like, yeah, dude, the Mexican fan base was more present and louder than any other fan base when we were there the whole week.
Yeah, let's even run
And
it in
yeah, I
San
mean,
Diego, right by the border. Let's run.
oh my
Let's rock.
goodness,
We'll pull up.
dude, I heard on one of Dana's press conferences, it might have been like last Tuesday. A fan asked him if they plan on going back to the LA area anytime soon, and
Yeah.
he said Southern California. So I'm hoping San Diego again. I don't really know what else it would be in
Yeah,
Southern California that's not LA.
like I don't know why they're not more prominent in like Sacramento, LA, San Diego. Like I feel like those are the places to do it.
Honestly, taxes might be a thing because the fighters probably get taxed so much more than they do when they fight in Nevada or
Yeah,
Florida or Texas. I think New York kind of has that issue too. You lose a
yeah,
lot of your money to Uncle Sam when you fight over there,
yeah.
which and it's kind of annoying, but yeah, I completely agree, bro. The fights are always so electric when they're here in California. One of my buddies got to go to the
Obviously, we're biased. If I could go to any fight night, I would go to the cities they go. But I want to see them. I want to see them here. But, I mean, there's a lot of places here. You can do it in San Diego. You can do it in. There's a lot of small arenas that would fill up and be super electric. That's why I think.
Yeah, we could get the True Mush Casino popping in Santa Barbara.
Yeah,
We could get
facts.
the roof. We could blow the roof off that place.
Yeah.
What
We
about?
can't run it here. We can't run it here at Rabobank.
Ooh, we could.
We can run it
Come
here.
on,
Right?
bro. Rabobank would be packed to the brim if they had a UFC event there.
Yeah, 100%.
Probably would be more UFC events in the parking lot and in that little
Yeah.
outside area than there would be inside the
Yeah, facts.
cage that night. Dude, how about the co-main event? This was a fight that I had marked as a potential fight of the year candidate before it happened. It didn't quite live up to that billing, but I still thought it was a good show of skill. I think they both were just like really good defensive strikers, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
neither of them were really gonna let themselves get knocked out. But Jack Della Maddalena takes down Kevin Holland in a split decision. First off, did you agree with the decision in that one?
Yes. I had JDM 2-1.
Yeah, I think it was. I kind of was going back to a word that Eric Nixick was telling Sean Strickland in his fight versus Izzy. I feel like the optics were favoring Jack Della Maddalena in that one a lot. It's hard to know how hard those strikes were really landing because Holland kind of does that Philly shell and rolls with a lot of stuff. But there's just so many times where JDM was kind of almost walking him down and getting him up against the cage, or Kevin Holland would kind of flail back a couple feet. I'm sure he wasn't really getting rocked, but still doesn't look great for the judges. But, dude, man, Holland looks so much bigger than him out there. It's crazy. He is a giant welterweight. Oh, you're muted right now. There we go.
My back.
You're back.
Yeah, JDM barely made weight as well. I think these guys, I mean, fuck it. Let's just have these dudes fight every time they're healthy at like 175, 180 because they both are like tweeners. I feel like JDM's way too big for 70, but again, probably a little too small for 85. So, yeah, I mean, I liked JDM, man. I think his last fight before this fight kind of, but I don't know. I think both these guys are both just weird. I feel like Kevin Holland is a great fighter when he has low expectations. When
That makes sense.
goes
Like every
out,
time he's an underdog or a slight favorite or not on a marquee spot on the card.
Not even just that. Like I feel like after his like Hamzat fight and all that shit, we're just like he just talks shit. He's not really like serious about it, you know? And then he comes out and then he goes and then he has a war with Stephen Thompson. Is like, all right, he's still a guy, but he's just not an elite guy. Then he comes has back-to-back wins, knockouts, and finishes. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like every time he's just like one of those guys where he's just not as good as the elites, but he'll dominate the regular dudes.
Yeah, like better than everyone else, but not quite as good as and even
so
probably
like
matchup wise.
Yeah, the way you look at it too is like, if you're better than Kevin Holland, you're probably really good.
Yeah, I guess a gatekeeper would be a good word to use, even though it doesn't really feel like he's a gatekeeper. But he called out Neil Magny after the fight, so I don't know. I feel like Kevin's kind of above that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it would still be a cool fight.
I just don't think he's above or below anything.
That's true.
I think he could be used. Yeah.
Like no one's mad if he fights a top dude, but no one's mad if he also fights an unranked guy, and it's like a prove it fight for the unranked guy. Dude, I have an idea for JDM, and I thought I was being original on this one, but then on Instagram I saw multiple accounts posting it, a bunch of people commenting it, and other things as well. JDM versus Ian Gary. That's the fight to make. The only thing that holds me back is that could be one that could be even bigger in a year or two if they keep on winning.
Yeah.
But I really want to see JDM versus Ian Gary.
Are you not big on the Ian Gary versus Wonderboy?
I don't know, dude, because Wonderboy's he's 42, 41. And I know that he beat Kevin Holland, but even in that Kevin Holland fight, before Holland broke his hand, I think Holland was hurting him. There was a couple times where he was kind of just trading shots with Wonderboy. He'd eat one, give one, and it looked like his were landing harder, but then that right hand just broke, so he couldn't really throw it. But I don't know, dude. I guess if Wonderboy wants to make that title run like he's saying he does, I don't really think he's a title contender anymore, unfortunately, which kills me to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I'd be way more excited for Gary versus JDM than I would be Gary versus Wonderboy. Or Shavkat. Throw Shavkat, JDM, and Gary. Just like any two of those three fight, I'm a happy man. Have you seen the stuff really about the inactivity in the welterweight division?
It's always been like that, bro.
It's so annoying. I mean, Usman, dude, it makes you realize that you can't take champs like Volk, Usman, Izzy for granted. Guys that'll fight 2-3 times a year, no matter what. It just kind of sets the tone for the whole division because Leon hasn't fought.
Leon hasn't fought.
I feel like that kind of sets the tone for everyone else too. It's like the champ's not fighting.
There's just guys like that. So like Islam hasn't fought in a year either. He's gonna come in October. It's gonna be a year. It's gonna be literally a year because he's fighting October 21st. His last fight was October 22nd.
Well, wait, did he fight? Was that Volk or didn't he fight Volk in like February or something like that? Yeah, but still, it feels like it because Volk's already fought again since then.
Yeah,
but yeah, man, it's really weird to me. I think Leon was just trying to not fight Colby, which really doesn't make sense because Colby's going to be the biggest pay-per-view, and when you're a champ, that should be not your priority, but one of your higher ones, I would say.
Yeah.
How about my guy? I had this guy in my top 5 in 5 years, or I think that's what it was, right? Top 5 pound for pound fighters in 2028. This was one of them, Raul Rosas Jr. He scared me after his last performance, but he looked almost like a grown-ass man in this fight a little bit on the feet.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like he went in there, he's like, fuck that, man. I'm getting a knockout today, no matter what. Because he was not going to grapple in that one. He wanted to go out there, swing and bang, prove it. And yeah, dude, I think if he stays on the right path, he has such an advantage over everyone else. Because it's like, obviously it's not the same thing, but it's like a kid who grows up doing basketball ball handling drills since he's 3 years old and has had proper coaching ever since he can remember versus someone that picks up a basketball when they're 15.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how Raul is right now in this sport. So I think if he stays dialed in, bro, he's going to be something special. Kind of the headliner, one of the headliners of that new wave of kids that grow up just training MMA ever since they're a baby, not jiu-jitsu, not boxing, not wrestling, not kickboxing. He's just been doing MMA his whole life. And we're about to see that.
Yeah, he looked good. I think you just got to obviously pick your spots after. Pick your spots with him. And it's not anything against him. He's young. He's a kid.
Mhm.
You don't throw him into the fire yet. I think they kind of, I don't know. I don't think they even, it's a fight he lost. I don't think I think they truly thought he was going to win that fight. But yeah, he's definitely like the wave coming up. These young dudes, big time knockout for him. I think it's big that he showed that power that he can knock someone out. Because I think him being young, it's just kind of like, oh, he's a wrestler, he's going to submit. But him being able to show that one punch knockout power was huge. So yeah, good one for him. Glad to see him back. I want to see him take time though. So like, even if it's a quick finish, I don't care how you win. Take 6-7 months. Don't keep him active. Like let's take your time. Let's assess good training camp. What went wrong? What went right? Because there's still things that could have went wrong in that fight. Just continue to pour into him. One thing I wanted to ask you was, what do you think about like obviously they have the PIs, they have all the resources there, but what do you think about like if the UFC, and if this would even work or if this could even be a thing, if the UFC hired coaches? So like if the UFC was like, hey, Trevor Whitman, hey, Nick Sick, hey, Eugene Behrman, whoever.
Yeah.
Like you're going to go to the PI we're going to pay you to be at the PI for 6 to 8 weeks. And we're going to send you these young guys. We're going to send you Rojas. We're going to send you this. We're going to send you like every young guy that they think is going to be the guy coming up to develop them. First of all, would the UFC do it? And second of all, would the fighters themselves do it,
I was going to say, I feel like fighters.
It could be outside of camp, like, right? So like Rojas got a quick W. So like Dana White's like, hey, Raul, like stay in Vegas. I'm gonna call Eric Nixick. You're gonna work out with him for 6 to 8 weeks, and then when we get you a fight, you can go back with your team. You're gonna have your camp with your team.
I think that's a good idea, but the one thing that I think fighters would be kind of hesitant about is just showing their tendencies and kind of their bag to another coach, because there's a chance that you're gonna have to fight one of his guys down the road, and that coach is going to be game planning against you. And he'll know, he's like, this is where he's bad, this is where he's good, this is where we need to shut down. I've heard Bryce Mitchell and other fighters say that's why they don't like training at big gyms, because they feel like people are just going to kind of like steal your secrets, I guess, which I don't really know how much truth there is to that, because at the end of the day, once you step in there, you got to be better or worse than the other guy. It's just a fight.
Okay, but also, what champion or big time fighter isn't from a big time gym?
Jamal. He's from one in Michigan, I think. But
I would just say, like, history shows being in a big gym with a big time coach pays off.
Sugar, kinda. Yeah. I've heard Sugar say that's why he doesn't want to go. He says he wants to train at TKB in Australia, or he said this a while ago. But they said even Volk, like, it's probably not going to be a matchup, but it could be one day, so they don't really want to like show him all their stuff yet. But like once Volk retires, they'll probably go train with him.
See, so that's what I'm saying too, though, is like, so when I would say like the UFC hire Eric Nixick or Trevor Whitman, I would say, and it's going to be hard because I don't think they do this. Yeah. But like the UFC says, hey, we're going to pay you and you're just our coach. So like you can't train anybody else. Like you can't corner fight. You can't corner fighters. You can't. No one would do that. But I'm saying that's how I would envision it. So like, so then that eliminates the like, oh, he's going to do this, he's going to do that, So
you're almost just like a skills trainer, like like I can't think of the basketball's name or the basketball guy's name, but there's a couple of them out there like that.
Basically, like the G League, how like they hire to develop them.
Yeah, I could see that being that would just be tough, because I feel like the coaches are so loyal to their fighters. You'd almost have to get a coach that's either retired, maybe like a Teddy Atlas type dude, or
the move is Trevor Whitman. He only has really Rose and Usman.
Yeah, honestly, Gaethje too, but
yeah,
dude, maybe like a Dean Thomas, also like someone that already kind of works for the UFC, but I'm not sure if Dean's still. I don't know if he still coaches that American Top Team or not.
Yeah.
Dean sometimes or more than sometimes, when he gives his analysis, he'll be like, this fighter needs to do this in order to get the submission or take the back. And then half the time they do it and it works exactly how he says it would.
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard it firsthand, live and in person. The dude knows his stuff, obviously.
Yeah. I talked to him.
Dude, I like that idea. We might have to shoot that one over to Dana and Hunter Campbell. Did you see the clip of, it was either Sean Shelby or Hunter Campbell. I always mix him up. But Bruce Buffer told one of them the decision right before he read it out loud. And when he told him, he was like, what? He was like, not this again, bro.
Yeah.
But I think that for the main event, by the way, but I think this one works itself way easier than the freaking Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz, just because Grasso was already the champ here, and it wasn't like neither of them were going for it. Like, I don't think the UFC was pissed off about this fight like how they were after the Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz. And I think you go Blanchfield Fiorot for a true number one contenders match, because most people agree that Blanchfield deserves the next shot, but there's still a little bit of hesitancy there. So put her up against Fiorot, or however you say her name, and then it's got a real note. Maybe put them on the same card even, just to help out the timing. Let's see, dude. There's a couple. I knew this card. I knew the young Mexican fighters were gonna show out on this card, because they kind of gave them all pretty good matchups. I would say, just with who they were fighting. None of them were fighting like guys that were on their way up, or dark horses in the division. You didn't see Fakhramadov on this card, or Saint Denis, or any of those bogeymen. But one guy that really stood out to me, Roman Koplyov. I hope I said his name right, because he's going to be a guy. Continued his knockout streak. I think it's either 4 or 5 in a row now. He just dismantles people, bro, with the body shots, the headshots, the kicks, the punches. I feel like he uses all, I think you have 8 weapons, like your 2 fists, your 2 elbows, your 2 knees, your 2 feet, dude, he uses everything in there, and he has power behind his shots. And I think he's pretty young as well, or not pretty young, but young enough. Let me see. Of course, my phone doesn't want to load now. I want to say he's around 30, 31, though. And he just dismantled Josh Fremd in that fight.
Prime age.
Our girl Tracy Cortez, once again, her great fighting ability gets overshadowed by the fact that she is super bad.
11-1. 11-1. Can she get a title shot?
Blanchfield, like before either of them were in the UFC, didn't she beat Erin Blanchfield?
I'm just waiting for her to get a title shot. No, she never beat Blanchfield. She did beat Blanchfield. Split decision in Invicta.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a video of that face-off. I was like, man.
Hey. Can she get a title shot? Who else? Bro, and she lost her first ever pro fight. So she's doing 11 straight pro fights.
Yeah, bro. When have you had a girl on an 11-fight win streak that's not in the title shot conversation?
The most underrated female fighter on the roster.
Maybe fighter in general, bro.
Yeah.
Maybe. Dude, but yeah, shouts Tracy Cortez. We're going to start talking about how she's a really good fighter, not just really hot.
Only 29 years old.
Come on. She's the complete package.
Oh, she's complete.
Dude, the new gear looked amazing on her as well.
Yeah,
she could be a model.
I almost bought it.
Was there anything else on this card that? Oh, Lupi Godinez, she looked great too, bro. Did you see her Volkanovski sequence?
Yeah.
Against Elise Reed, she literally did the same thing. She like rocked her up top, got a couple of the body, picked her up, slammed her, probably even slammed her harder than Volk slammed Yair. And then she went for the sub instead of the ground and pound. But I was like, damn, we got another girl getting in their Volkanovski bag out here. That's pretty sick. Let's see. Yeah, those are Daniel Zellhuber with a nice submission over Christos Gallegos. Lacerda got a gift when the refs stepped in on that guillotine against Edgar Chairez on the prelims.
Yeah.
So Chairez had him in a guillotine, and then Lacerda wasn't really moving, and then the ref just steps in and calls the fight, and then Lacerda's like, "Oh no, I was fine." So that's just honestly just a shitty situation all around. Do you know why they can't just continue the fight? Like, I'm sure there's some official ruling.
Yeah, that one's just like, I don't know. It's weird. But I think once
It's
you
not.
call it and then you review it, I don't know. Too much time in
Yeah.
between. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it if it's like a knee to the head or something that like disables another fighter or like takes away some of their ability. But in that situation, like, I don't know, felt like we could have just kept it going. I'm sure that there's a lot of rules that say you can't, and you have to have some rules in this sport because it's already crazy enough. But yeah, man, I would have liked to see Chairez get him out of there because I think he was on his way to doing that. And we're both Chairez guys after seeing him live at 290.
Yeah.
I think he'll definitely get another shot in the UFC because this kind of was his. I feel like this was like his "we appreciate you" fight for taking that one on short notice against Tatsuro Taira, I think was his name.
Yeah.
So should we throw up your results?
I guess.
It started off great.
I always fucking start off great. I need to stop at like, yeah.
Just lay down some bigger cheddar on the prelims or the earlies.
Yeah. The parlay, Holland killed the parlay. The bad one was the read over 2.5 and tricked that one off. But yeah, shouts Tracy Cortez, shouts Campbell, and then I had the over. Yeah. We're chipping away. I'm getting a feel.
Yes, sir.
Getting a feel.
It's just a warm up because once we hit Abu Dhabi, it's just gonna to the moon right there.
Yeah. Now this
all the way
week
up to 300.
We got Rafael Fiziev versus Martez Gamrot. Big fight in the lightweight division. Who do you like here? And this is a big fight here. I think whoever wins this one can pretty much put themselves in warrant a number one contender fight.
I'd agree. I think it's going to be Gamrot trying to take Fiziev down, and it's going to be Fiziev trying to knock Gamrot out. I could see it going kind of how it was Gamrot and Turner that fought, right? Like probably like a year ago at this point when Turner was kind of piecing Gamrot up on the feet, but then Gamrot would be able to get the takedown and kind of ground and pound him for a couple minutes, and he did enough to get that decision. But in reality, Turner kind of won the fight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And kind of a similar matchup here. Obviously, Fiziev and Turner are way different styles of strikers, but Fiziev is a Muay Thai expert, loves to just stand and bang, throw those body kicks. So, man, let me see what are the odds on this one? Probably pretty close,
Fiziev
right?
is like -1. Fiziev is -160. Gamrot's +135. I'm big on Fiziev here.
Who did Gamrot? Was it Gamrot that lost to Benil? I always mixed him, Fiziev, and Staryukian up in their fights. Yeah. But okay, yeah, I like Fiziev as well here. Gamrot's going to be trying to get that takedown, but Fiziev has shown great takedown defense so far in his career. So as long as he can continue to do that. Do you have a method?
No, I think they're both technical. I could see it 5 rounds, but then I can also see it finish. So I don't know. I think just Fiziev gets it done, finds a way to get it done.
I like that. That's a good fight, bro. And then the co-main, we got my guy, Thug Nasty, Bryce Mitchell. He's been dealing with some issues on the farm over his fight week when he's been in Vegas. I don't know if you've seen it on Instagram, but he has a crazy ex-girlfriend going around. She's killing his trees, killing his crops, messing with his livelihood. She's just trying to put food on the table. Bryce said, here's what I should have put it in here, bro. It's so funny. He's like freaking out in a little selfie video. He's like, she killed my trees. Next, she's going to kill me. Then she's going to kill my dogs. And then she's going to kill Aaron. So please, seriously, Arkansas, I can't be there right now. I'm in Vegas, so I need y'all to help out. I don't even know how, but I need you. Seriously. She owns a tattoo parlor on Baker Street or something like that. But
He dropped her
yeah.
address?
He said she owns a tattoo parlor on this street, and that's all you need to know. So if you're in Searcy, I'm sure you know where she's at. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's been a couple bricks through that tattoo parlor's window since he posted that video.
Yeah, I seen all that, and my first thought was just like, his commitment is already a question, and then this shit. So it's just, this is what we talk about when like it's so hard to get to that elite level, because he was so close to getting there, and then when it was time to get there, he just folded. Like not even like folded like on the big stage, just folded mentally and just folded emotionally and folded outside the cage more than anything. And it's just, those are those things like Izzy, fucking Leon. They don't have these issues. They don't have fucking girlfriends trying to kill them. They don't have fucking farm incidents. Like, I'm just like, that's all part of it, bro. Like, it's just a lot of things that we don't see. So like, to be that 1%, that's why it's hard. And I just, I don't know. Does he win this fight? I'm not convinced. But I just think that he showed us who he is really, and he can't really get to that top spot, elite spot. So until then, I mean, it's just like, yeah, whatever. He wins, he loses, he loses.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Ige, he's never lost by sub in his career, and that's Bryce's primary way of winning. But I do kind of think, I think Bryce should be able to take him down and just have enough top control to win this fight. It might not be a super entertaining one, but I still think Bryce is pretty talented. He's still one of the best grapplers in the UFC. I'm gonna take him at his word in his last fight that he was sick going into that against Topuria, because he got to Vegas on Wednesday, I think, during fight week, which was really late. And then he just never really looked right in any of the media or any of that. So I'm hoping we see a totally different Bryce Mitchell out there today, or not today, on Saturday. And not like he'll be back in the conversation after this one, but if he wins this and then beats another solid guy, then he could be back in that contender conversation, I think.
Yeah.
So I like Bryce by decision here.
Okay, I like it. Brian Battle on the card. Shouts up. Marina Rodriguez, a good fight versus Michelle Waters and Gomez. Oh, Charles Air Jourdain.
Yeah, best nickname in the UFC.
It is. Oh, Muhammad Usman.
Ricardo Ramos.
Muhammad Usman as well. I like Muhammad Usman in this. I might have to bet a little cheddar on Muhammad Usman.
Yeah, me too. Jake Collier, he's 34 years old. He's 13-9, and he's on a 3-fight losing streak against Andre Arlovsky, Chris Barnett, and Martin Boudet. So Boudet's pretty good, but none of those are like losses where you're like, it's a good loss.
Yeah.
Even though, I don't know, I guess it's never a good loss, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like Usman here too. Do you like him by KO or just by decision?
Yeah, by KO. Exciting weekend. Sleeper weekend. The show goes on.
Facts.
Has anything else happened outside? Any news or no? I feel like it's been quiet.
I felt like there was something I was gonna bring up earlier, but I can't remember it now.
The WWE UFC merger is announced fully.
Yeah, I don't even know what to make of that, really. I feel like it's more just a money, like an accounting thing almost. Maybe they'll promote some stuff together, but there's no way we're gonna see like. I don't know. Maybe I guess we could see older UFC fighters in WWE like making appearances on the mic.
Yeah, I think it's a promotion thing. What I heard was, they're just gonna start doing a lot of like weekends together. So like what I heard was like what they want is like Friday night SmackDown on Friday, UFC pay-per-view on Saturday, WWE pay-per-view on Sunday, all in the same arena. That's big time.
That is. That's hard to fill an arena 3 days in a row, but if anyone could do it, it's them.
Yeah, well, the UFC is going to sell.
Yeah, I just mean WWE. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't go, but
No, yeah. I mean, but you gotta think,
yeah,
bro. We've all had a WWE phase in our life, and like when it was like in, so it's still, I feel like it's still like
oh
that
yeah,
to some. So if it's there, it's there.
bro.
So I feel like it's gonna be elite.
Bro, when I was probably like 10 to 12 years old,
Yeah.
maybe 13, those WWE big fights felt like a UFC pay-per-view headliner to me. Like when Randy
Yeah.
Orton would be taking on Sheamus or something like that. That was kind
Yeah.
of my era.
Shout
I
out
was
DC. DC was there in Wall Street. DC's big time.
Wall Street?
Yeah, when they went to cut the ribbon and shit or ring the bell for the merger, he was there.
You
Yeah.
think he's got some say, like more than he gives off? You think he's making stuff happen behind the scenes as
I
well?
think he has a lot more. I think he has a lot more money than he claims to have.
Oh yeah. Dude fought in a lot of title fights and some big
Yeah.
pay-per-views as well.
And I don't necessarily think that. I think Dana just kind of wanted to bring someone as a face, and I think who else do you bring other than him? He's kind of the guy.
Fact. Would have had to been like Anik or not Rogan, I guess, because Rogan's not.
He's kind of the only, like, other than Stipe. Yeah, other than Stipe, like, obviously when you think about the UFC, it's always like the heavyweight champ's the baddest man on the planet, so that's like your biggest star kind of in a way. And other than like Stipe, and he doesn't really talk much, who's the face of the heavyweights other than that you would want other than DC? Can't take John Jones, can't take Francis.
Yeah. Probably not Kane right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, and all the other ones are like, yeah, all those other heavyweights are way older. I think Aspinall and Sergey, they're both looking like they could be those guys. I was looking at their average fight times for I was just looking on the UFC stats page because they have all like the all-time leaders on stuff. And Aspinall's average fight time is like 2 minutes and 13 seconds. That's throughout crazy. His whole UFC career. And then Sergey's is like 2 minutes and 19 seconds, which is just ridiculous, especially against guys as big as they're fighting. They just go out there, throw the leather with no regard for human life. And I guess Aspinall is more technical with it, but Sergey does.
Yeah.
And do you have, we're way out, but I think UFC 300, I think it's predicted to be in like March to April, somewhere in that range right now. Just based off of what would work. Obviously, a lot's going to change. Guys are going to get booked. But what would you do for the card right now based off of what we have to work with?
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like, because like a lot of it, and again, I don't know what their struggle is and what they're talking about, but I feel like a lot of it is like they're trying to hold guys out for it, but then also it's like, damn, like you can't keep waiting. So it's all just timing how it's gonna go. I definitely think is it
March or April. Let me see if they have a like official prediction for it yet.
So I think you can go Sugar in December, then Sugar in March.
I think so too. Let's see, UFC. Most likely towards the end of March. Yeah.
So then, do you hold out Conor for that?
That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, he probably only has one more in him, so why not? It would give him time to get right with USADA if he's ever going to, or maybe they just say that he's in there. Even if they just said it now, it'd start counting 6 months. And
yeah.
But then the problem is, because Conor's not going to want to be anything besides a main event, but you have to put title fights on it if it's UFC 300. I think fighters would be smart enough. I know Sugar is, but I think the other champs would realize, even if I'm a co-main, I'm still getting my pay-per-view points, and Conor's going to sell a lot more pay-per-views than I am, so he's really just putting money in other people's pockets. But I did hear it was either Dana or Hunter Campbell. He said it's really hard to put Conor on a card with other champs. Like, when even someone just asked him about Conor and Sugar, and they said it's just really hard to do because they have to pay out Conor a shit ton of money no matter what, and then they got to pay the champ his pay-per-view points as well, and then they got to pay all the other fighters on the card. ESPN gets their big cut.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The UFC could definitely still make it happen for 300. I think it would grow the sport in general in the long run. So hopefully they'll hopefully they'll reach into their pockets a little bit and make something
So
great happen for them.
for sure, 3 title fights on 300. Two male fights and then 1 female fight.
I'd agree. I think
Yeah.
I heard people saying Vulcan Islam rematch could headline it.
That's big.
Maybe.
Is he still a star?
He's still a star. Yeah. He's more kind of a villain star now in the
Weird,
in
bro.
the
I still
grand
feel
scheme
weird.
of things.
I feel weird about him now, bro. I don't know why.
The
I
dog
feel like
videos, bro.
I feel like we just watched like Father Time in real time.
Dude, I watched this. I saw this video on Instagram. It was the Izzy kickboxing one where he's just doing the Muhammad Ali shuffle out there in the Matrix, being the style bender like he always was. And it looked like a different person from that Strickland fight, bro. I didn't even think that he necessarily looked slow out there, like Dana was saying. I thought he just looked hesitant more than anything else. After Strickland caught him in the first, and he even said to Nixick that Nixick was calling everything out. So that already shows that Izzy's mindset was kind of like, man, what do I even do out here? Like, Nixick's one step ahead of me. So, bro, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how he comes back from this because he is at that point in his career where if he retired, he's already a legend. So, like you were saying last episode, where's the motivation? It's tough.
Yeah. I don't even think he's like. I don't even think like now, even losing to Sean, still don't think he has motivation, bro. Because it's just like I'm better than that dude, bro. I've just fought so much and so long. It's just like I don't really care. Like if he says he's better than me, he can say that. But he like I know I'm really he knows like I'm really better than him. I don't know. It's weird, bro. Weird situation.
Do you think that could start to happen to Volkanovski soon? He's kind of been in that same boat. I think he still gets motivated by moving up and beating Islam and being the lightweight champ.
It's different because I think Volk has little man syndrome.
I was kind of almost, I didn't want to say it, but he doesn't act like it at all, but I don't know how you couldn't.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, same way, like Izzy was winning the same way and dominating the same way. But no, I still think there's guys. I think after Topuria, if he beats Topuria, then if he beats Islam, then the conversation. Yeah, but at 45, it's like
Imagine Volk got the Connor fight, dude. Like down the road, because you've heard him say like all the top featherweights have fought in each other, or all of the former featherweight champs besides Connor and Volk. So yeah. I don't really even. I feel like Connor's way bigger than him, but I still love Volk in that. As long as Volk survives the first round, which I'm sure he'd do because he's just really smart and technical, Connor probably gasses out, and then Volk just has him in hell for as long as he wants to before he decides to put him out of there.
Yeah.
You see the UFC cover curse?
Yeah.
Anything about that? Does that impact Volkanovski at all?
I don't know, bro. I don't believe in that shit, but like, it's just, I don't know.
It's probably more just
two cover athletes without a belt.
Yeah, I think it's probably more just a thing of father time. Like if the UFC, the doors close fast in this sport. So when you're the guy on the last cover, chances are someone else is going to become the guy like sooner rather than later because you've already had to be a top dude to be able to get on the cover of the video game. And people, unless you're John Jones.
Jorge was on it too.
Oh yeah, dude, the BMF, baby. But yeah, it hasn't been pretty. Valentina already lost after being announced for the cover. She's on a 2-fight losing streak now. Some would say 3 against Santos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had another. What was my other question? Dude, where does Bo Nickel, where do you have him in the middleweights right now? Because we saw the dude live. He's the same age as Sugar Sean, so it's not like he's in Raul Rosas's boat where he's 18, 22 years old. He's 28, 29, so I wouldn't say we got to rush him, but I'd like to see him start fighting dudes a little bit better.
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's definitely one of the top. I think he's smart to not rush. I think if he came out here and said like I want to fight, be active, they make him active. So it's definitely his decision. But I think he's smart to let these dudes weed out. Like let Izzy weed himself out. Let's let Sean Strickland, whatever happens with him, because I think Bo Nickel beats Sean Strickland. So I think he was smart for that. I think he's taking his time, let those old dudes weed themselves out, let Whitaker, Izzy, all them dudes fight each other, whatever they need to do. And then when it's time, you go.
Dude, if there's a way to make it happen, Bo Nickel versus Hamzat, UFC 300. I know Hamzat's way ahead of him right now in their trajectories, but that's one of the fights that I think could be like the fight of the decade.
Yeah.
And then I know you got to go run a practice here pretty soon, but one more question I had kind of centered around UFC 300. So, who would you say has been like the guy? Obviously Conor in terms of growing the sport. But like, is there a guy between UFC 200 and 300? So I think UFC 200 was supposed to be Jones, DC.
Yeah.
I think so. It's somewhere around that timetable.
It ended up being Silva and Cormier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like since that time, who would you say has been like I don't know how to say it, like the fighter of the UFC 200 to 300 era?
I don't know, because you have to look at it from different perspectives, right? So you have to look at it like for countries. So like the ones who made it big in different countries were like Francis, were Kamaru, Habib. Yeah, so Islam. So I would probably say, if I had to pick one, I'd probably say Habib.
Yeah.
Because Habib, and then look at where those Dagestanis are now after Khabib. Like they're a whole, like it's just a difference maker.
True.
But as far as like popularity and like growing the sport, I don't know, because I don't know. It's weird. It's hard. It's tough because I feel like the sport just grew as a whole. There wasn't really one person, and I feel like that was the biggest growth post Conor era, was like how much it wasn't reliant on just one person.
Yeah, true. Like we were saying, there was a while ago where none of those big name stars were booked, and the UFC was still just growing and growing and growing and growing.
Yeah. So I would honestly, if there's one person, can I pick Dana White?
Oh, I guess yeah.
He's the
What about the best? What about the best fighter? Is that Khabib? Probably.
Yeah, Khabib. If you still want to count John Jones.
Yeah, I was gonna say John always in there. If Max didn't, oh man, Max was really owning that era, but he just lost to the best guys in there.
And I know we talk about it all the time and we give him his flowers, but the run that Volk has been on is generational.
Dude, yes. I get pissed off that he lost that decision to Islam, like obviously because he didn't get the belt. But he would be I think he'd be on a 15 or 16 fight win streak in the UFC right now. And the record was Silva, somewhere right around there. So he'd be, oh my gosh, dude. He's already in the GOAT combo, in my opinion. But yeah, man, he'd be even more in the GOAT conversation if the judges just wrote different numbers down that night and no one would have been mad about it. My question was Volk's fifth round against Islam, was that more of a 10-8 than Grasso's fifth against Valentina? Had to be. Like, I don't even know what Grasso did in that fifth round.
Well, because watching it and scoring it, I never even thought about a 10-8 for Grasso.
No. And on the significant strikes, it showed Valentina outlanded Grasso in the fifth round, where Grasso got the 10-8. Obviously, those significant strikes don't tell the whole story, but that's just crazy right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10-8s are weird, bro. Like, I remember Kyler Phillips, he lost a fight against, I think, Paiva, because he had the most obvious 10-8 ever in the first round, and then Paiva barely won the next two, and they gave the fight to Paiva, even though Kyler Phillips almost killed him in the first round, and they didn't give him a 10-8. So, oh, man. It's just judging, bro. Like, the word judges right there, it already makes it hard, because that just means it's someone's opinion.
Yeah.
Rather than baseball, where it's just outer shade.
Everybody has different perspectives on 10-8. I'm not so generous with 10-8s.
Yeah.
I'm not. I feel like if you land a strike that warrants you from losing a 10-8.
Yeah, like just one, like a jab or just like a
Yeah, I'm
anything?
personally, I just think so. Yeah.
Like a 10-8 has to be a blowout. Like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
you're almost
Like what Islam was doing to people on the way up, like that
Yeah.
type of stuff.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Dang, we got 51 minutes.
I know, bro. Computer's about to die out here. Never gone this long.
For real. I didn't get a charger. It's like the back in the early days when we go like an hour and a half talking about whatever.
No.
All right, then. Any word on the NFL? Any word on the NFL before we get out of here? Your team's looking very, very good right now.
Yeah, we're good. I think I'm a realist. I'm not afraid to say when we suck. I'm not afraid to say when we're good. I think we're really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a chance. I think we're the best team in the division. I think Dak is cementing himself as a top 5, top 7 guy. I think our defense is generational. So yeah, I think we're good. I think we're a top 3 team in the NFL. I think we're in the Super Bowl picture. Try not to get too high on it, but yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid to say it. We're good.
I've got to say, dude, I've got to give you your flowers. You're a great Cowboy fan because you're never like hesitant to bash them or shit on them. And some Cowboy fans, no matter what, they're winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
doing it. But you've never been one of those guys. You're just you keep it real with them.
I try to, man. It's just I'm a realist because I think, and if any sport where I can be like that, it's football because like in basketball, I just like know too much about it to where I can like see some shit and be like, no, they're not gonna win, or like, no, they're not gonna lose. I don't know shit about football like from like a schematic standpoint. So like if there was a sport to do, I'd be like, oh, we're just gonna win it all. But I just also like am a realist and have common sense and like I've seen this shit before. So I'm just like, nah, we're not winning this year. But I think this year we can. I think this year I think we can win the Super Bowl. I truly think
especially with the Eagles not looking as good as they did last year.
Yeah, and just more so the landscape of the NFL. I don't think there's other than the Niners. The Niners always give us hell just because they're too physical for us. But I think this year we can match their physicality, and that's always been the problem in the years past. Like I said, we were going to lose to the Niners last year. They're just too physical for us. But I think this year we can truly match their physicality, and I think we can beat the Niners this year.
Yeah, I think it might also just come down to who's healthier between you and the Niners because right now I don't know who wins between you guys. You guys are both loaded, but chances are it won't be these same teams come playoff times because as much as it sucks, people always get hurt in this league. But yeah, I think Brandon Cooks was an elite grab for y'all too.
Yeah, he's got to get healthy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you already got hurt, huh?
Shouts Mike McCarthy looking a great call in place. I heard our previous play caller is 0-2. I don't know who it was, but I heard he's 0-2.
I think he was a lefty quarterback out of Boise State. He used to be good over there. It's Ruger's guy. I can't believe the Chargers didn't fire Staley after that playoff game. Oh shit. Frozen out here. Honestly, I think Jalen's computer might have died, so I'm gonna send us out of here. Thank you all for listening. Yep, I got the text. Jalen's computer died, so thanks for listening, y'all. Great week of fights coming up. Great week of football, and drink some water, get some sleep, and deuces.